Some Like It Hot. It's a 1959 movie starring Tony Curtis, Jack Lemmon, and Marilyn Monroe. It's listed as number 1 by BBC for all-time greatest comedies. On Wikipedia, it is listed as one of the greatest films of all time. It's available in various locations like YouTube and Amazon, and I'll put those links in the description if you decide you want to watch the film yourself. The 1959 movie starts with Curtis and Lemmon playing 2 musicians. They witness the Valentine's Day Massacre and go undercover as 2 woman musicians. Tony Curtis courts Marilyn Monroe, while Jack Lemmon is courted by a rich man. In comes the conversation between Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon that I am interested in. All right, Tony Curtis is the voice of the majority opinion in 1959 in this conversation. He sees no reason a guy would marry a guy, which shows that in 1959, people would not consider same-sex marriage as even being reasonable.
Be serious. Why not? He keeps marrying girls all the time. But you're not a girl, you're a guy. And why would a guy want to marry a guy?
You see, Tony Curtis makes the point that having sex doesn't even make sense between those of the same sex. He says, what are you going to do on your honeymoon?
Like, what are you going to do on your honeymoon? We've been discussing that. He wants to go to the Riviera, but I kind of lean towards Niagara Falls.
Because he can't imagine what 2 men would do together, or 2 women. It doesn't make sense to him. Tony Curtis tells us that in 1959, same-sex marriage did not exist for the majority. He says, there are mores, conventions, it's just not being done.
Listen to me. Listen to me. There are laws, conventions. It's just not being done. Joe, this may be my last chance to marry a millionaire.
So mores and conventions are the things that people believe in that time. Generally, it would be a majority opinion or a lot of people, and I think he represents the majority here. And so the majority did not believe in same-sex marriage. Tony Curtis, as the voice of the majority, advises a man who identifies as a woman to just keep telling yourself you're a boy.
Forget about the whole thing, will you? Just keep telling yourself you're a boy. You're a boy. I'm a boy. That's the boy. Oh, I'm a boy.
In other words, his logic is a man is a man and a woman is a woman. They're just not the same. Although there are humorous spots in the movie, this 1959 statement on sexuality is nowhere near as funny as many other films. It does show how men objectify women. It shows how men will lie and cheat just for one night with a woman. It shows how men are visually stimulated by women. It shows how many women look for something other than looks in men. Which, by the way, shows a difference between men and women, doesn't it? Since it's not as funny as many other films, I wouldn't rank it number 1. But its quality comes from its statement on society and how many men and women officially, by mores and standards, related to each other in 1959. This is probably why it's considered so good, because it has something deeper than just the humor and the violence in the movie. It was probably one of the first films to confront, these issues regarding same-sex marriage and, male with male and female with female. Do I recommend this film? It's a little slow for 2 hours long. We had, I took a break. I watched it. I took a break about halfway through. I doubt I would watch this again or show this to someone else, except to demonstrate some of the worst things in how several men deal with women. There is some immodesty in the film. It makes it look like almost all men are violent and sex-craved. That's the way it portrays men in there. So that's what you get from the film. If you have specific questions about the film, please ask in the comments. And thank you for watching.